Alright, people, I have got to tell you, something crazy is going down, and if you are religious, and I'm going to just make it clear that I am not terribly religious. If you're religious, I swear to God, and you are me, and what is happening, you would probably be losing your mind right now. I'm just going to lay out what has happened, what has unfolded in this short period of time. I can't believe that just happened. It's so freaky. I can't even believe what just happened. First of all, this is so compounding in its craziness, I don't even know if I can explain it. Here's the deal. Just now I was making a video going to tell you the story of all these things that are colliding, and while I was making the video, 2 minutes into it, the phone rings. Number one, no one calls us, no one knows our number. And it was the minister from the church that I went to on Sunday. Now that's only crazy because of everything else that's happened. So I'm just going to say, here's what's happened. I mean, I don't even know if this is the craziest thing. Seriously, if you're religious, you will definitely think that this is a message. Alright, here's what's going on. First of all, I'm not crazily religious, okay? I grew up with going to Episcopalian church and was baptized, and I chose to be confirmed. None of my siblings did. You know, I would like to say that I think that I am a spiritual person who does find religion fascinating. I do not necessarily believe 100% in the doctrines of any one type of religion, but I am comfortable with attending Episcopalian church, and I would like to do it in order to have a community and everything like that. Okay, so that's that. Okay, now you might also know that I was debating homeschooling kid for a number of reasons before we even got here. And then when we got here, because I couldn't get into any schools, then I was going to homeschool her. I've like vacillated between wanting to homeschool her and being afraid of homeschooling her and what that might mean. And then when we got here, not knowing anybody, I thought it would be best if she went to a school so that we would have some kind of social contacts, and that I was really nervous that if I homeschooled her right now, we would be really isolated. Okay. Then all of a sudden we got the invitation to the school, so it was like, okay, it was meant to be, moving forward. Fast forward. On the weekend, okay, in between all this time, I've really been very anxious about my decision and really feeling in my heart of hearts that I am supposed to be homeschooling her. That's all I can say about that. I don't have a whole bunch of reasons behind that. It's just a feeling that I have. I mean, I do have reasons why I think that's a good decision, but I don't need it. That would be an hour-long discussion. Okay, I'm just saying that I feel very driven that I am supposed to do it, that it's the right decision for her, and I'm very anxious about the fact that I've chosen to send her to school. However, I think that on many levels she will enjoy it, and that this is the best possible school for her that I could have chosen here, and it's not going to be detrimental, and we're just going to go forward with that regardless at this point. But here's what's happened. Okay. I decided that I was going to try to find a church just to see if I could find a group of people, you know, that was like an active church with kids that went to it and whatever. So I did some searching online at the different Episcopalian churches, and I couldn't really tell, but there was one website, a church that had a website that I liked, and it's the church that was built for the Biltmore, so of course it's beautiful. And they had two things that made me think, okay, this might be a good choice. One, they had like a really active teen program, and Episcopalians are not like Baptists or Catholics even, or anything like, you know, in general, you're not going to get a whole bunch of teenagers still involved anymore. They tend to be obviously more liberal-oriented families are going to Episcopalian church. I'm being general, obviously, but in my experience. And so, you know, it's not hardcore religious families, let's put it that way. And if they have a program that's actually got teens to still be interested in going, that tends to say to me that they have a really good kids program. You know, Quiz Wild, so to keep going. Alright. So that drew me to it. And then they also have kinder music classes that they hold there. That are like a crazy, like, 2/3 discount if you're a member, so that drew me to it. Alright, I went to church. I brought Kid with me. She's crazily into Jesus, so, you know, she's all that. Brought a Kid with me, and we went to the 11:15 service because that's when we were up and ready to go. And there were, like, no kids there and no moms, and I was kind of like, beautiful church, but this is really probably not going to work out. Maybe it's, like, too fancy of a church, you know, like, this isn't the one where families go to. A very nice older woman was sitting next to me, and we talked. We were wearing the same shoes, of course, which was hilarious. And she introduced me to this minister. Totally friendly. In fact, I noted that he was incredibly friendly. In fact, I noted during the sermon that he made eye contact with me, which I thought was unusual, and I was like, weird, what's going on? Alright, maybe I stood out because I wasn't 70. I'm not sure. Anyway, during the service, he was like afterwards, he was like super friendly, but kind of intense style. Now, in that, like, I don't know, I felt like really acknowledged by him, and in a crazy sexual way. I'm just saying, it was, I don't know, it was just something bizarre. Anyway, I filled out one of those little forms that come in the pews with my name and number, because, you know, I always do that in case you want to be contacted. Well, typically, I have to see how long this is getting. Okay, I have to hurry up. Typically, when I have done this in the past, the people who contact you are like the people on their list, and it's like a, you know, 7-year-old man or something, and you're like, whatever. Well, they had a mother call me, like, who had similar age kids, who was so chatty and so nice, and like, no, you know, like talked to me for like an hour, and just, you know, totally friendly. And she said that this guy had her call me, and I was like, that was really smart. Like, I'm really down with that. And I went to the wrong service. You have to go to the earlier service, yada yada. Through the course of the discussion, it comes out that I might have homeschooled Kid, and then she reveals that she homeschools her kids. Now, a lot of people do homeschool here, but either way, I felt like, I'm like, oh, that's really unusual, like, strange set of circumstances, that I'm, like, not very religious, but then I go to this church, and then I'm at the church, they have a person call me who actually makes me want to keep going to the church, but also homeschools their kids. I don't know, it was like a strange, and then I was like, and I'm already on the fence debating what I should do. It just seemed weird. Alright, that's fine. That kind of got me all stirred up into, like, what am I doing? I really should be homeschooling. Maybe it's a sign I should be homeschooling. You know what Oprah says, and you know I love to say that, about, like, you get the messages, and you get these messages, and whether you're religious or not, it's not necessarily religious, but, like, you have instincts, and you have these things you're supposed to do, and you don't listen to them. Anyway, then today, HLH sent me an email about homeschooling. How strange is that? And all about how, you know, beneficial it actually could be. And then, while I'm sitting down to make the video about that, the phone rings, and it's the minister. How strange is that, people? Calling to make sure that, like, somebody contacted me. I'm telling you, my head's reeling now. Check.